And Baker Mayfield, I, champ. I know you sound like a broken record, but hey Cleveland, how you feeling now? How are you feeling right now? Because Baker Mayfield, the past 2 seasons, 67 touchdown passes, and this season, oh, back to back 4,000 yards.
The most in the last two
and
years.
and arguably the biggest snub of the Pro Bowl.
Mm. It was either him and Christian Gonzalez. I felt like he should have made the Pro Bowl.
I think Baker Mayfield's the biggest snub. I would go my three biggest snubs in the NFC are probably Baker, Bijan, Kirby Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
AFC, I would probably go. I'll probably go Christian Gonzalez.
Okay.
If you want to look at it, even though he's a rookie, if you want to look at it from the rookie perspective, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is a snub. And gosh, I'm thinking. Mm,
Chase Brown.
Yes,
yeah,
because
Chase
he didn't start until what, week 9?
week 9.
well, he didn't take the primary job over until week 9. Yeah,
Yeah, Chase
Right,
Brown.
and already has what, 1,000 yards.
Mm-hmm. Chase Brown.
You know what's so interesting, guys? Speaking of the Pro Bowl, Travis Kelsey got in. Go
And
ahead,
that is
champ.
why I say this. I love fan voting. It keeps us interested. But the reality of the situation is this. They need to take it back to where it was back in 1995, where the players and the coaches were voting in the Pro Bowl. Because Kelsey got in there off reputation alone and visibility alone. The reality of the situation is that he wasn't even the best in the AFC this year.
That was Brock Bowers.
Exactly. I was getting to that.
by a long shot.
By a long shot.
Oh, sorry,
And
champ.
like I said, if he don't make all pro, there's no justice. So, hey, that's why we need to take it out of fan voting and put it back in the coaches and the players' hand. Like I would have fans voting on it, just to see the result, but I would take it back to player and coach voting because it means a lot more. And for people who say, "Oh yeah, it doesn't mean a lot more," look at the top 100 players. You're being judged by your peers.
Pierce.
Being judged by your peers is a hell of a lot more important than being judged by fans. And that's nothing against us as fans because I'm a fan myself. But if PSP tells me, "Hey, you're one of the best commentators in the world," that means a hell of a lot more than somebody off the street who just so happened to see me one day. You're around me more than probably anybody.
Right.
It's towards BRF. So if I'm being judged by my peers and they're saying I'm the absolute best, that is in high regard. That is why the Hall of Fame means so much. Because now that the players have become the writers as far as football is concerned, guess what? You're being judged by who? Your peers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally, champ. Yeah, once Travis Kelsey got in, I'm like, this has to be based on politics. This has to be based on, of course, Taylor Swift, of course, the visibility. And that's why we made the argument last week, champ, between the NFL or the NBA. I don't know if she was there at the Chiefs and Steelers game, but it seems to me when a Chiefs game goes on, it's not really about Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, or Travis Kelsey. Well, I take that back. It's not just them, but the casuals, they're more tuned in to see Taylor Swift because the moment they score a touchdown, they're gonna show her,
I mean, look,
and that's just what it is.
it's just
I
what it
mean,
is. And people can get mad all they want to. If hypothetically speaking, and I do say hypothetically speaking, for those out there in TV land, if Beyonce was dating, let's say Saquon Barkley, they'd be showing Beyonce every 5 seconds, and she would be the star attraction there. So, I mean, you got to think about it. It's publicity. And the thing is, you can't buy that type of publicity anywhere else but with a grand superstar like a Taylor Swift. And when you have her on, and the thing is, there's so many elements that goes into this game. You have her not only, she is the girlfriend of one of the best tight ends in league history. They're going for a three-peat. They have the best quarterback of this generation. You have the best coach of this generation. One of the most storied franchise of the football world. Hell, the Lamar Hunt Trophy, the AFC Championship Trophy, is named after their owner. So it's a lot of elements that goes into that. But when you add a Taylor Swift into the mix, it's gonna draw viewers. And like I said, it would be no different if Beyonce was, like I said, hypothetically speaking, if she was dating Saquon Barkley. Hey,
They would tune in to see her.
yeah,
And
they
on
would,
top of that,
especially during a season like this. Oh, he rushed for 2,000 yards. Put the camera on Beyonce. So yeah, I mean, it's like I said, people are gonna say, "Well, we don't like it. It's not a part of the game." Look, we're not just in the sports business. We're not just in the journalism business. We're not just in the podcasting business. We are in the entertainment business.
entertainment business.
And I don't care how much you can know sports like the back of your hand, and you can know every stat known to man. If you sit there in monotone and say it like this, nobody's going to pay attention to you. The louder the game is, the more visible it is. And unfortunately, should it be like that? No. Should it be the more knowledge that you got and the more, but unfortunately, you have to realize you have, it's an entertainment value that anything have. That is why commentators, they don't sit there and just monotone the entire game and say, well, I just seen him go past. You see guys like the late great Greg Gumbel, they come out there with enthusiasm and with that flair talking about how this game is, because they know that's what's going to capture your ears, and in turn, that's what's going to capture your eyes. So guess what? The entertainment value has to be there in order to draw in fans. And if you notice
Exactly.
it, that is the reason why the NBA is not flourishing at this point, because the entertainment value is not there. You can get away with a lot of things as long as something is entertaining. And if you don't believe that, look at social media right now. You can get away with a lot of things as long as it's entertaining. We've seen a lot of bad games this year in the NFL, but it was entertaining.
And at the end of the day, it's about making money. So the NFL, they don't really care how fans, sports fans, if they're gonna complain, they're like, whatever. We still going to benefit off of it. They don't care if they show Taylor Swift footages or Beyonce. It's all about making money. And Roger Goodell, we talked, and I mentioned this. He's done his part, making the owners, making the players more money than they ever realized. Even though, as sports fans, do I like seeing Taylor Swift or Beyonce at times, all the time? No, I don't. I really want to watch the games. But I understand it's about business and it's about entertainment. So I can't knock the NFL for taking that approach. If people have a hard time just seeing that, yeah, that's on them. Kelsey, should he have made the Pro Bowl? No. And I'm being nice. I respect Travis Kelsey. He's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. But I do believe politics played a huge role as to why you got in. Brock Bowers unequivocally going in. He got to make first team All Pro. He got to make Pro Bowl. Is it shocking, guys? And I know because he's still the best quarterback in football. Is it shocking that Mahomes didn't get in? I don't think so. Because when you look at the
No,
year
it's
that Josh Allen is having, Lamar Jackson is having, and including Joe Burrow's having, yes, we do acknowledge Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in football. But if you look at the years that Lamar is having, Lamar is about to have almost 4,000 yards. He's about to throw for 4,000 yards, could get 1,000. You look at Josh Allen, what he's done for the Buffalo Bills in that division, and second seed in the AFC. Mind you, he doesn't have as much help or support. And then you look at Joe Burrow, 42 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions, near 5,000 yards. Champ, you've been on the record saying if they don't take care of Jamar Chase, if I'm Joe Burrow, I retire like Carson Palmer. And then ultimately some team tries to get me. So I'm not surprised at all with Patrick Mahomes not getting in, even though we still acknowledge he's the best quarterback in football. But Patrick Mahomes didn't have the type of season that a lot of fans, including you, BRF, anticipated. You thought that Patrick Mahomes was going to have Tom Brady 2007 season.
That was my hot take. I thought he was going to break the single season passing yardage record because you look at how the offense was constructed for him with Rasheed Rice, with Hollywood Brown, with Xavier Worthy, and then potentially Isaiah, and then you got Isaiah Pacheco. Granted, he got hurt, but then you still bring in a Kareem Hunt who put up numbers for the Kansas City Chiefs this year, and you still have Travis Kelce, and then you got Noah Gray who's starting to emerge this year as a pretty good tight end. I thought he was going to break the single season passing yardage record. So I'm glad to see that they didn't just put Patrick Mahomes in just off of name value, even though Travis Kelce clearly got in off of name value. I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad Patrick Mahomes didn't get in off of name value because it's clear as day. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson have been the three best quarterbacks in the AFC, and they all deserve to make it. And I'm glad they all made it. So I'm definitely glad they did the right thing in that situation. Yeah, because Patrick Mahomes is still in large part the best quarterback in the league when you take into account the reputation, his performance over his career, just what he does in big clutch moments when you need him to win games. He's the best in the league at doing that. But this season has not warranted a Pro Bowl spot. The three right guys got the AFC Pro Bowl spots. So I mean, at some point, yeah, we want to see our favorite players get there, but at the same time, we have to be realistic about the situation too and understand who have been the three best quarterbacks in the AFC this season. And it's been Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. There's just no debating about that.
Yeah, and I think that's why with the Pro Bowl, it seems like when Travis Kelce got in, yeah, because of the popularity contest. To your point, BRF, you mentioned Baker Mayfield being the big snub this season. If you look at Baker Mayfield's numbers outside of the interceptions, what more could you ask? And who got like with Darnold and with a lot of these other quarterbacks, I think Baker Mayfield, I think he may have had a better year. Here's why. First of all, coming into the season, didn't we have Atlanta winning the division? Yes.
Absolutely.
They were 6-3 at one point. Kirk Cousins, the first half of the season, 17 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions. He played well enough in the first half. Second half, he regressed, of course. As a result, he got subbed in for Michael Penix Jr. You look at Baker Mayfield this season. They won the division last year, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 4,000 yards. They won a playoff game. Okay, new expectations. No Chris Godwin, he got hurt. Mike Evans has missed his fair share of games. And still, to be putting up these numbers with Auden, and also to your point, BRF, you mentioned a lot of other weapons they have in Bucky Irving, who's having a hell of a season as well. Over 4,000 yards, 39 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Once again, reaffirming that the Cleveland Browns made a huge mistake. Huge mistake letting go of Baker Mayfield and going forward with Deshaun Watson, because right now, Cleveland, it ain't looking so good, to the point Jameis Winston has had to be your quarterback and is even praying to the, even talked about with the Lord and God about pick sixes and all that other stuff. That ain't working for you.
And I said this, I said this during the draft, when the draft was going, and I'm looking at the Falcons and what they were doing from their standpoint. I didn't think they were going to go as. I was surprised they went as heavy defense as they did after they drafted Penix Jr. But I was looking at like around second and third round. I wanted Jalen McMillan. And then when I saw Tampa drafted him, I said, "Damn." And and sure enough, Chris Godwin went down. Who's been the outside target to step up after Chris Godwin went down? Jalen McMillan. So believe you me when I say I wanted Jalen McMillan in the Falcons uniform. So let me tell you something. Tampa got a steal when they drafted him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Chad, you were you gonna say something about Jameis because I know you were talking about Cleveland.
Oh, Martin Luther King Winston, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Martin Luther King Winston singing his prayers and doing all types of stuff. I don't know what's up. It's,
Lord, deliver me from these pick sixes.
hey, you need to be, hey, probably need to be in the pulpit more than you need to be on the field. I'm just gonna be real with you. But hey, you can't throw pick sixes when you're in the pulpit. But I digress. Just gonna be very, very honest with you, man. Mayfield is amazing. I think he was a huge snub for the Pro Bowl. And look, one thing you forgot to add, they was 4-6 at one point.
I forgot to add that point.
They was 4-6, and it was just like it was pretty much. I'm like, I was out here dancing and skipping around. You know, as hard as that is to believe, by the way, I was around here dancing and skipping around. All right, man, we got this. No, you don't. So I would say this: Baker Mayfield has definitely did everything the correct way, man. And look, I'm not going to be too harsh on Cleveland because, you know, we've already taken our little bumps at Cleveland and said what we had to say. But I will say this, man. Baker is proving why he went first overall. And to win, he's led two teams to the playoffs and won two playoff games. Playoff record is not that bad. He's 500 in the playoffs. And not to mention, you got to think about this. In Cleveland, he's doing it with on paper. I do say on paper, he's doing it with lesser talent than he had in Cleveland. Remember, in Cleveland, he had a little bit of everybody.
Odell
He had
Beckham Jr.,
Kareem Hunt,
Jarvis
Nick
Landry,
Chubb.
Austin Hooper.
Yes, he's doing that with even less weapons. So, and like I said, they didn't expect anything from Baker when they first signed him. Well, we're gonna give him a shot, and all else fails, we'll draft somebody. No, you ain't drafted nobody. He came out here and he did his thing, and he's playing like the number one overall pick. I hate that when we look back in history, he won't have a lot more Pro Bowls or accolades in order to speak for him. He is a Pro Bowl alternate at this point, but I hate that that is the case. But for him to come out and play like he's playing, and people don't want to acknowledge this, but he came one play from beating the mighty Detroit Lions last year and going to the NFC Championship. I doubt if he gets that far again, then hey, you know, he was right to go number one overall. He was right. So I mean, hey, him, he did his thing, and I'm proud of Baker Mayfield. I'm very proud.